Hi, y'all, and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Brenda with Blessings and Bread. If you've been to my channel before, I would like to welcome you back. And if this is your first time to come to my channel, I would like to encourage you to subscribe and come along this YouTube journey with me. I'm having a great time and I'm just kind of getting started, but I'm having a lot of fun and I'd love for you to join me on this adventure. It's just a few days till it's officially fall. So when it begins to get fall, even though here in Texas it's still 90 degrees, I get in the mood to bake with pumpkin. And today I'm going to be baking some pumpkin bars. These pumpkin bars are so simple and easy, and they are delicious because they're topped with cream cheese frosting. That's probably what makes them the best. But today we are doing that. Last week I made pumpkin bread, and there's a little difference in the recipes, and I'll talk about that as we make these pumpkin bars today. So I'm ready. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to be doing is mixing together our wet ingredients. And I'm going to begin with 4 eggs. These eggs, as I've said probably in other videos, should be at room temperature if at all possible. That will make everything bake more evenly. All right, let me put these away. And then we want to just beat these with a wire whisk. You are not going to need a mixer to make these. We're just going to mix everything in a couple of bowls. All right, the eggs are beaten. So now we're going to add oil, which is 1 cup of oil, and 2 cups of sugar. And I'm going to mix those together. Well, sometimes I think I forget to say, so I'm going to go ahead and say it now. I will list the recipe in the description, so don't worry about writing this down as you go. All right, the butter and sugar, not butter, the oil and sugar and eggs are now combined. And the next thing we're going to add is the pumpkin. Now, this is one of the things that's a little bit different, is this recipe calls for the whole can of pumpkin. My pumpkin bread only calls for a cup of pumpkin, but this calls for the whole can. It's a 15-ounce can of pumpkin. And we're going to mix all that in. Just whisk it together until it's combined really well. I'm going to make sure it's all smooth. All right, that came together nicely. And now I'm going to set this aside while I combine my dry ingredients. Now, I've said this also before on other videos. It's not necessary, but I like to sift my dry ingredients together to blend them really well. So I'm going to start with my flour, and this is 2 cups of flour. And then we're going to add our leavening agents, which this recipe calls for baking powder and baking soda. It just calls for 1 teaspoon of baking soda, but it calls for did I say a tablespoon? It calls for 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And then it calls for 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Now, that is one of the big differences in this recipe and my recipe for pumpkin bread. By using more leavening in this recipe, it's going to make it a lighter and more tender cake, whereas my pumpkin bread is more dense. All right, I need a half a teaspoon of salt, and then we're going to add spices. Now, that is another thing that's a little different, at least how I make it is different. I only use 2 teaspoons of cinnamon for flavoring in this recipe. There are some optional spices that you can do, but this recipe is one that my husband loves. It's one of his favorite desserts, and he does not like all those extra spices in there. The other spices are just a tiny bit of like 1/4 teaspoon each of ginger, cloves, and nutmeg, and all of that is optional. All right, so I think we have everything in there. We have baking powder, soda, cinnamon, and salt, and the flour. And now we're going to stir those together. Oh, I hope I put that salt in there. Salt is important. I think salt is important, even in sweet desserts, because it kind of keeps it from being too sweet. So we're going to do that together. I can't remember if I put the salt in. All right. Well, I actually stopped my video, went and watched the video, and I did put the salt in. So I know that it's in there. So now we're going to do the next step, which is to combine the dry ingredients with the wet ingredients. And you know what? I probably will do better with just a spoon for this. So let me get a spoon. And this will probably work better. And now I'm just going to stir all of this together till it combines, and then we'll be putting it in the pan. All right, now it's all mixed together. So I'm going to get my pan, which I've already prepared, and we're going to just pour this into my prepared pan. This recipe calls for a sheet pan. And so I've already prepared it. I have my pan release that I make, and I've already brushed it with my homemade pan release. And someday I'm going to do a video on that. When I run out of what I've got made now, I'm going to make some more. But we're just going to pour this into our pan and spread it out evenly. I'm going to spread this into the pan. And then we're going to bake this today at 350 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes. So I'll probably set my time for 25 and then check it with a toothpick. And then decide if it needs that extra 30 minutes or extra 5 minutes. All right. Okay, so it's ready to go in the oven, and we're gonna finish putting this in the oven, and then I'll be back, and we'll be icing it with the cream cheese frosting. My pumpkin bars are now out of the oven and completely cooled. And today I'm going to frost them with a cream cheese frosting that I've already made. And I am going to make a video making my cream cheese frosting that you can go and watch. And I will still list the recipe in the description, but I'm also going to make a video that you might want to watch. Cream cheese frosting is just delicious. I think I've already said that it's the bacon of the baking world, or one of them. All right, and then I'm just going to spread that around, and there will be plenty of delicious cream cheese on this delicious pumpkin bars, and they are a delicious snack. All right, I think we have every single bit covered. And now I'm going to cut a slice. And Rod, why don't you come over here and be my taste tester? We're going to cut it. I'm going to let you be my taste tester today. On a corner piece. All right. Don't be camera shy. You got cream cheese on your chin from licking the beater. All right. Taste it and tell me how it is. Hadn't had it in a while.
Good.
Is it good?
Just need one ingredient.
What?
Cup of coffee.
Oh, okay. Well, that's your department. I don't make coffee. All right. Thanks. All right. I hope you've enjoyed this recipe, and I hope to see you next time I'm in my kitchen, in my garden, or on my porch. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I invite you to do that, and I hope to see you the next time I'm in my kitchen.